Hi, I'm Colin, and welcome to Colin's Corner. This is a series where I'm going to talk about whatever music is fascinating me now, or really whatever I want to in the music industry. So I hope you like this little bit of a change of content, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you. Every second of every day I'm listening to music. When I'm on TikTok, I'm getting constantly berated by song after song. When I do my homework, I'm turning on some lo-fi or maybe some shoegaze. When I'm going to sleep, I'm probably going to listen to something with a little bit less energy. And when I'm driving, you best believe I've got the aux on something good. Music is a huge part of my life. However, I don't really think I'm unique in that way. I mean, who doesn't like music? Whether you're a Drake superfan, maybe you love BTS and K-pop, a jazz connoisseur, everyone's got their own taste, and I think that's great. I think you can gauge a lot about a person based off what music they listen to, and the creativity in music is endless. Some people are content listening to radio hits, and other music enjoyers might want to hear Death Grips screaming for 22 minutes, and that's okay too. Something really cool about music is that no matter how much time passes, the music is the same. And sure, this is no amazing point I'm trying to make. Of course you know that. Unless you're Kanye West editing your album from post, or if you're me recording this voiceover from post because you couldn't say it first time correctly. Your music is unchanging. Music from the 1920s is always going to be the same, whether or not the people that made it have passed on. This music is their legacy. Even older songs like some of Kate Bush's discography are resurfacing in popularity years later due to pop culture using it. But that's the same song that was out in the 80s. Albums can be a really personal thing, but they don't have to be. Some people may just want to rap about how successful they're doing, how many boats they're buying, which is great and fun. I'm pointing at you, Tyler. But other times, those same artists may want to give us a deep look into their personal lives. Even if these situations end, it's like a picture of how life was for that artist during the time. And I just think that's really cool. It's like publicly writing into a journal in one of the most creative ways you could do that. For this video, I'm going to delve into two examples of this, with Tyler the Creator's Igor and Car Seat Headrest's Twin Fantasy. So let's go. First of all, I'm going to start with one of my favorite albums of all time, Igor. Judging by my last video, you might have a sneaking suspicion, this guy really likes Tyler the Creator. And you'd be correct. I am a sucker for an album that tells a story, and I think Igor tells a beautiful story. Personally, I've never had any love issues because I am a perfect human, so I can't relate to this. Okay, fine. Maybe I relate to a few parts of this album a little bit. But this album is so cool because if you're just chilling and you think to yourself, wowee, I'm feeling like I've been led on in a way that makes me feel like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Throw on some Igor and bam, there's another person who feels the exact same way you do, but they've turned your feelings into an album. And you can listen to it and cry your eyes out or dance around the room or do whatever you must while you hear this music. Well, Tyler has never come out and said this definitely, but more signs point to than not that this album follows his own personal story. He's hinted at this album being about his heartbreak, so until I hear otherwise, I'm going to assume it's at least loosely based off real life. If this is just a character album, my bad. However, these feelings are still things many people have felt, so my point is the same. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to move on, assuming that this album is probably based on real experiences. And some people have gone as far to theorize who exactly this album is about, but that feels slightly too personal for me, and maybe it's a topic for another day. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's jump into the album. Boom, Igor's theme. Welcome to the world of Igor. With this unique sound and these awesome synths that you'll grow to love by the end of this album, it serves as the perfect opener for this. This is what the rest of the album's going to sound like. Songs like Earthquake and I Think drop you right into the middle of the action as Tyler begs his partner not to leave, instantly making you realize he's in a rocky relationship, and by the second track of the album you figure that out. The next song, I Think, takes it back a little bit to when he started to fall in love, and it reminds us of the excitement of having a crush. Running out of time instantly puts some urgency on us, as Tyler feels like he's running out of time to make this relationship work, and the listener hopes that things work out for the best. After that, we go into one of Tyler's greatest songs of all time. New Magic Wand perfectly encapsulates the feelings of jealousy so toxic you consider murdering. This song, Tyler spills out his deepest feelings. He's not getting enough of the time he wants. He's unwilling to make compromise. He's willing to do whatever it takes for him to get what he wants, for better or worse. When Tyler performs this live, it's very easy to tell that he takes this extremely seriously, and he gives it his all, with fire shooting out, screaming, and just a truly emotional performance. Tyler has even gone as far to say that the 1 minute and 25 second mark on New Magic Wand, Speaker on the Highest, is his favorite moment that he's ever made, purely based on feeling. He's not exactly sure why. He's come to the conclusion that it's also his favorite song that he's made. We then go to A Boy Is a Gun, where Tyler is frustrated at his partner for refusing to come out of the closet, feeling betrayed he's still hanging out with his ex. In the next track, Puppet, we're feeling taken control of, much like a puppet, and finally he realizes he's gone on too long as we go into What's Good with the classic line of Got My Eyes Open. And next, before we know it, we're into the final stretch of the album. Songs such as Gone Gone Thank You, I Don't Love You Anymore, and Are We Still Friends brings in the final chapter. Gone Gone is just a phenomenal breakup anthem with relatable lyrics and Tyler expressing how he feels post-breakup. On the other hand, I Don't Love You Anymore feels like Tyler's trying to convince himself that he's moved on and that he doesn't have feelings anymore. However, the way Tyler screams I don't love you anymore may leave the listener thinking that he's trying to convince himself of that. Finally, we go into Are We Still Friends, which is the perfect question to leave everything on. After this album full of good times, bad times, heartbreak, love, are they still friends? This phenomenal outro track is one of my favorite songs of all time. So many times a friend or a partner might change and you find yourself asking the same question. Tyler pours his heart out with profound lyrics such as, I don't want to leave the season on a bad episode, expressing how, even after everything, he can't end this on bad terms, forgiving somebody who maybe doesn't deserve it. Finally, as this album fades out, we hear those same synths we heard in Igor's theme. You did it. You made it to the end of the album. Wow. I saw a great video about how sound engineering-wise the starting synths of Igor's theme actually complete the end song of Are We Still Friends, and Tyler pretty much confirmed that theory. I'll leave a link to that in the description because I think that video explains it much better than I could, but really makes this album into a loop, because going through something like this breakup isn't really a linear journey. It takes time to get over someone, especially if it was a long or meaningful relationship. While Tyler might now be onto other projects, winning Grammys again, Igor shows us a picture, and it remains unchanged. No matter what, Tyler felt this way during Igor, and he will always feel that way, and it's something we can visit anytime, serving as like a time capsule. I really have a lot of respect for Tyler for him showing us this side of him. While he is doing better now, it's so amazing to always have Igor snippets of his life at the time, and such a clear picture of these emotions that many other people have felt more than just him. Next, we've got probably the most clear example of this with the album Twin Fantasy by Car Seat Headrest. If you don't know, this is probably the most prominent album stemming from the fellow Will Toledo. Twin Fantasy goes all the way back to 2011, with a college-aged Will writing songs in his dorm room, even recording it from his car, putting his phone on the car seat headrest. Get it? Like the name of the band, like Car Seat Headrest, filming their songs on the car seat headrest. Anyways, a 17-year-old Will made this album about heartbreak, sexuality, and coming of age, and it has some of the most raw emotions I've ever heard. While the vocals on the 2011 version may not be used to what you're hearing out of a recording studio, this would be because he recorded it directly on his Mac in his dorm, the emotions are almost somehow heightened because of this. Classic songs such as Beach Life and Death, My Boy, and Twin Fantasies, the outro track, are all sung and screamed by Will. After releasing other albums for about 7 years, which they're also good and you should check out, especially Teens of Denial, Will decided it was time to go back and redo Twin Fantasy. In this re-recording, some people like it less because it feels less raw because so much time has passed, but other people might see it as a retrospective look on where he was then, and I think those feelings are still real. We're dropped in with the song My Boy, who, if you've got amazing critical thinking skills, much like me, you might think that this boy will probably be sung about for most of this album. Well, next track is the ever so iconic Beach Life and Death, which is a 13-minute song. I think everybody should listen to this before you die. I mean, it's amazing. For 13 entire minutes, you'll be engaged by this song. It just gets better and better with every listen, with lyrics about struggling to feel like a human, coming out to friends, so much more. It's such a raw track, and it feels so personal, just so worth the listen. In the same album, we've got Sober to Death, with just classic instrumentals and great lyrics. Nervous Young Inhumans and Bodies, which are both incredible listens. We hear Will talk about drinking with his friends, fear of death, and just being an adolescent. Next we go into Cute Thing, which is a beautiful and much more upbeat track. This song is similar to I Think from Igor, with both of these being really happy and great tracks, but when put into the context of their albums, they may seem a little bit less happy. But with that being said, no discredit to Cute Thing. I've just about blown out my car speakers listening to the song. Unfortunately, the great stuff cannot last forever, and here we go into the shift of the final act, with the gut-wrenching lyrics of I'll never be alright again, and I don't want to die, I don't want to die. We're then sent down into the never-ending hallway of Famous Prophets, a 16-minute track that I swear makes time fast forward. We get a call back to Beach Life and Death with the repeated The Ocean Washed Over Your Grave. We get religious themes. We get an entire journey within the song. and then we go to my personal favorite, Twin Fantasy, Those Boys, to end us out. This song is really what inspired me to make this video. It's such a punch in the gut for me, and I think it's just the best way to end such a great album. Will says towards the end of the song, "This is the end of the song, and it is just a song. This is a version of me that can exist outside of everything else, and if it is just a fantasy, then anything can happen from here. The contract is up, the names have been changed, so pour one out to whoever you are. These are only lyrics now." And boom, that's kind of the point I've been trying to get at for this entire video. But wait, there's more. Once we get back into it, you'll hear the lyrics, "When I come back, you'll still be here, and when you come back, I'll still be here," which just further goes to show that no matter what, no matter where you are, this album will always remain here like a memento in time, always reminding us of this adolescent Will and these raw emotions he went through, and such a beautiful, beautiful thing. One of my favorite touches about this entire album, I was playing this on my record player, and when it reached the end, it kept looping and looping. I thought there might be something wrong with my record player, but it's actually done intentionally, so that the album never ends on its own, and this fantasy never ends, and we're the ones that have to put an end to this version of Will that lasts forever. In all, if you haven't heard either of these albums in full, I cannot recommend that you go listen to those. Enough. Yeah, that one's my bad. I meant to say I cannot recommend you listen to these albums enough. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching this. This is only my second video here, and I've got a lot more videos planned. I've got some really cool ideas cooking, and I would really appreciate it if you subscribed or let a friend know that I was making this content. Leave any thoughts you've got in the comments below. I'd love to talk about this, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.